Namaste, welcome back to Waking Up with Mindful Serenity Yoga. And we're going to continue answering questions from the jar. Well, actually, I'm going to continue answering a question I previously tried to answer before the computer cut me off. And it was a little bit frustrating because I don't often have a quiet house, and I just had a perfectly quiet house for a few minutes while I was doing this video. And I got cut off. Anyway, it was a great question too, so I'm going to continue answering that question. And I'm going to answer it not so much as an expert, like I keep saying, but as someone wanting to learn. And I have been studying and practicing yoga, as I've mentioned several times, for over a quarter of a century. Yes, I'm aging myself. And I have not only been practicing the Hatha yoga, but I'm trying to practice all 8 limbs. Well, don't think you can actually practice samadhi, but it's not even that I'm intending to get to samadhi. I'm just practicing the limbs that are necessary for me to grow as a better human here. And that's all I'm doing in this spiritual practice. My spiritual practice is becoming a better human being, focusing more maybe on the being than the human part of my existence. Anyway, that being said, I'm going to continue answering the question that I started to answer previously. I'm going to set my timer, and I'm hoping you will bear with me for this. This is not usually the way I like to do it. I used to like to just authentically, impromptu, answer the question as it comes out. But the question I started to answer before was on what is purification in yoga? What is purification in yoga? I'm going to take another deep breath. I may come out with a totally different answer than I had the last time, but we'll see. Purification in anything is basically purifying, cleaning, cleansing, right? Removing debris, removing contaminants, removing toxins from that which is naturally pure. And that's what purification is. It's returning to the natural state. The natural state of most humans, believe it or not, is something called Satchidananda. Satchidananda means internal conscious bliss. It is a state of being in the here and now without any concern of past or present, or past or future. It is a state of being very, very aware and conscious of what is important and everything that's happening around us. It's a state of being the observer rather than that which is being observed. And it's the little me in us, this psyche, this accumulation of stored events that we call the psyche, that we tend to be focusing our attention on rather than the eternal consciousness that we are. And it is a state of bliss. Most of us are just trying to get through our day. The thought of having bliss in our lives is just too much to even imagine. But our natural, innate state of being is one of joy, of bliss, of love, of peace. And when we go through a process of purification, we will come to understand that that is who we are, and that is the experience that we can have as human beings. Most of us are trapped in our suffering. We're trapped in this idea of lack and despair and darkness, when in truth we are light. We are this state of eternal conscious bliss. So when we talk about purification, it isn't creating a new state of being. It's returning to the state of being we actually are. It's returning to joy and bliss. Satchidananda in Hindu traditions is often what we would refer to as God in our Western traditions. So it is the source of everything that is running through us. And how does it run through us, crazy lady? It runs through us as energy. And you may dispute energy, sometimes we get so wrapped up in the term energy thinking it belongs to the New Age movement. We don't see the reality and practicality of using that term energy and seeing everything in this world as energy. Physicists will tell you that everything in this world is energy. So we have this energy of Shakti flowing through us. This pure, joyful, loving, blissful, compassionate nature of who we truly are flowing through us, or meant to flow through us, without any interruptions, from the bottom of the core all the way up and out into the universe, giving instead of taking, offering service rather than using the world to serve us. That natural state for most of us is blocked. It's blocked by something that goes with Shakti. When we understand Shakti in yoga terminology, we also have to understand the word samskara. Samskara are our stored impressions. The experiences that we've had the opportunity to be a part of in life may affect us in so many ways. All experience is meant to come through us. If you can think of yourself as a porous cylinder, everything we experience is supposed to come through, come in, and go out, and just kind of flow through this porous nature of who we are. We look dense like matter, but most of us are space, and it's all supposed to flow through. It doesn't flow through for most of us. Most of us don't have that natural experience of Shakti because of our closing and our selective opening to what the world provides. Samskaras are impressions that we've made based on the experiences we've had. For example, I may have had a wonderful experience as a child of going to the circus, and the circus meant so much to me. It meant family time, it meant joy, it meant getting cotton candy, it was just a very pleasant experience, judged by me as a child as a very pleasant experience. Together with the conditioning from others, I may have taken this memory with all its emotional energy around it and stuffed it in a filing cabinet called good, right, should be, I want this again. And I have it stored over here with the intention of anything like it I want it in my life. So I'm going to be looking outside in the external world from here on in after this experience for anything similar that I can pull in to feed this, so I feel that pleasant emotional energy again, because my heart was so open as a child when I first experienced it. And when the heart is open, the Shakti is flowing through freely, and what we're feeling is that natural state of Satchidananda. To some degree, we're feeling the joy, the bliss, the peace, the love, and that feels so wonderful. So we've associated it with the circus when it had very little to do with the circus. The circus was just a trigger that allowed us to keep our hearts open. When the Shakti Chidanandi was already in us, and we were allowed to experience it. But instead, we've associated with the circus. So now anything related to circus or anything like it, we've stuffed in this filing cabinet. And our goal then is to cling to this, hang on to it. So instead of flowing through the way it was meant to and flow out, we now have it stuffed and stored as an impression. We've developed the tendency to want to manipulate and use whatever out there to keep that pleasant feeling we experience coming in, and to keep it and store it and to relive it again. Now, for example, if I had just the opposite experience with circuses as a child, maybe I went and I have a great love for animals, and I seen the animals being mistreated, and that scarred me deeply. I may hold on to a very unpleasant samskara related to circuses. So the next time I find myself in a circus or someone's talking about circus, I may find that I'm angry and resentful and resistant to the fact that the circus has come to town, and I'm going to struggle against it and, argue against it being there, and whatever I'm doing, and I'm going to live in a state of resistance and negativity every time someone mentions circus, because what I'm doing, my intention was always to keep this negative feeling, this unpleasant feeling, down and away from my subconscious, my conscious mind, so I didn't have to experience that awful feeling. When the circus came, my heart closed, it shriveled up. I did not like it. So when my heart closes and shrivels up, we resist what the moment has given us. We fight it. We struggle against it. We want something different than what is. And every time I encounter something like that, I'm going to have that same experience. That samskara is going to be activated. It's going to come up to my conscious mind together with this new experience that I'm experiencing. Samskaras and Shakti go together. Samskaras are also related to what we call karma, because the tendency to live according to satisfying this, getting this again, and pushing this down and keeping this down and never experiencing this again is the way we tend to view life and the world. We seek out there for situations. We manipulate the outside world and other people so that we feel like we're either having the good experience of the circus or we never feel the bad experience of the circus again. So we, in a sense, are manipulating the world, the outside world, putting our energy and our focus out there so that we don't feel disturbed in here. Samskaras and Shakti go together. These samskaras are blocking my flow. Whenever I close to life, resist life, either resist it by wanting more of this and not living in the moment, or wanting less of this and not living in the moment, my heart is closing and I'm not experiencing the flow of Shakti. It's like a pipe that's been just twisted and corroded right down to the point where there's only a tiny little lumen left and so little Shakti is flowing through. What we want to do then is unclog those pipes. We don't want to focus on making the world a different place, because that's never going to be possible. We're never going to satisfy all our needs. The world's not here to help us satisfy our needs. Life is not about us satisfying our personal needs. It's about what we can give, not what we can get. Yet as long as we're blocked by these Shaktis, we're living very limited experiences with these tiny little lumens for Shakti to flow through. So not only do we not experience peace and happiness and joy inside, we're not giving to the world the way we're meant to. We're not sharing it out there. We're not offering enough service. We need to clean out those pipes. We need to purify. We need to remove not the the experiences that are not considered pleasant. We need to remove the junk inside that's blocking our Shakti flow. These negative experiences that we've held on to. Because of the emotional energy underneath them, what happens is we have a block here, so the Shakti is just intent on flowing. It's just doing what it does. It's trying to get up and out of us, but it's hitting this. It's hitting my distaste for service and distaste for people who hurt animals. So I keep hitting this, and my whole focus is on this. And only trickles of it are able to get through, so I'm not experiencing a lot of joy. So making sure there's no circuses in the world, again, is not going to solve my problem. I'm never going to be able to solve that problem that way. What I need to do is remove my resistance, remove my tendency, remove my samskara away from that Shakti flow so the Shakti can flow. I want to create a state of inner bliss. I'm not going to waste my time trying to create a state of outer bliss, because it's never going to happen. Purification is all about cleansing the inside, removing those things that disturb us. Not the triggers out there, but by removing the samskaras and the blockages and the impressions inside, we won't get disturbed by what's out there. Our Shakti will still be able to flow, our hearts will stay open, and Shakti will continue to flow. So yoga is all about removing the junk inside. So the natural, peaceful part of us, who we are, that Shakti can flow through us and out of us. We stop clinging. We stop pushing away life. We say, this is what is, and whatever it is wonderful. It's here for me to experience, and as long as I stay open to it, be it pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, I'm purifying my body. I'm purifying my soul. I'm allowing it, everything in life, to come in and to flow out. That is purification in yoga. As you can see, my time is up. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Namaste.